So, welcome back. What does Candace always say? That all of this, everything is fake and gay? Candace is absolutely correct. The reason, now, I say this Tim Pool is one of the main people that inspired me to buy a microphone and start having these conversations. I got frustrated listening to some people's takes on certain topics, and it seems like they all see everything a certain way and they refuse to look at them from different angles. So that's where I come in. Right now, Tim, it appears, is staging these attempts in an attempt to get more views and to get more attention pulled off of Candace onto him. And the claims are so innocuous, you can't really say that he made them. It went from him saying that somebody came and shot at his property to, well, we weren't there, but I have a report from my security team. But the people that came allegedly and started shooting, there's no shell casings found. They didn't hit anything on the property. So there's really no proof that it ever happened. They said you can hear something on the webcam for the chickens, but for all you know, it could be a car backfiring one of the neighbors. But also the whole point of living in way out in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia, is so that if you want to fire guns, you're more than welcome to do so. My problem with Tim Pool is that you want me to take the threats on your life seriously, but you just said the threats are fake because they're coming from Candace. So which one is it? You cannot have it both ways, Tim. Either the threats are fake or the threats are real. When Candace said there are threats on her life, you said she is paranoid and delusional. You even have Ian Crossland saying the same bullshit rhetoric. So you have to choose one. It's crazy. Tim is literally blaming Candace Owens supporters, and I'll prove that to you right now. This is what he said about Candace a few days ago.
You'll all see Candace is doing, so I'm not going to name them, but guys, I'm telling you this right now. Go on YouTube, pull up whatever conservative personalities that you've heard of, and look at their view count, and you'll see they've dropped dramatically. You'll all see Candace is doing pretty dang well. The conversation behind the scenes, everyone knows why. It's exactly as you've described. If people always need the next level, we've talked about this in the past about how they call Trump Hitler. It starts with saying, Trump is bad, then Trump is racist, then Trump is very racist, then he's the most racist, then he's almost as bad as Hitler, then he's as bad as Hitler, then he's worse than Hitler. Because if they write the same article, Trump is racist, nobody clicks it. So they got to give you it's the hit's got to get bigger. You don't feel it anymore. Behind the scenes, everybody is pissed off because they're like, I wish I was as evil as some of these people where I can just lie to get the views.
We all know he's referring to right then. But is this not exactly what Tim Pool is doing? Remember, one time he said he was swatted on air, allegedly. I was watching that episode live. Another time, the police actually came into the studio and walked around because he said he was swatted. Now it's to the point where, actually people are shooting at us. No one's hit. None of the property is hit, but there are people taking shots. Is that not him escalating and getting more and more because they didn't want to keep writing the same article? Is Tim Pool's name not everywhere throughout the media? And people are talking about Candace a little bit less over the weekend? I'll be honest with you. I've been watching Tim Pool since 2020. In my opinion, he's probably one of the most least assassinatable people on the internet. And why all of a sudden just him? Candace Owens getting threats. Hers are coming from the president of a country who literally war that is coming in the next couple of months. She's apparently the only person who could likely stop it because she's the only person that is bringing up evidence that Macron is married to a man and he's gay. Remember, everything's fake and gay. A man who is a pedophile who started having sex with him when he was 14 years old. So when you're going to ask the French people to send their best and their strongest men to go die in the Ukraine for a pointless war, well, maybe I don't want to die for some gay guys that are at their mansion playing with each other. Maybe I only want to die for things that I believe in. They want Candace to shut up. Tim wants Candace to shut up, and it doesn't make sense. But then all of a sudden now, here goes Tim saying, last night a vehicle approached our property and opened fire, but no one was hurt. Our security team is reviewing the incident and will be relaying the report to the appropriate authorities and law enforcement. Listen to this last part. This is the price we pay for speaking out against evil. Now, only a couple of days before, he refers to Candace Owens as evil. Now, Tim Pool's a very articulate man. It's not like he's just accidentally repeating the same word because he doesn't have a wide range of his vocabulary. He could have said something else. Also, no one was arrested. No one was hurt. Your security team doesn't have a description. So how do you know this was because you were speaking out against someone? And matter of fact, who did you speak out against? You just met with Netanyahu. You believe every drop of all the bullshit leaking out of the ass of TPUSA. You don't believe in, you don't basically go against anyone. People on the left. And I've noticed you've had some choice words for a couple of politicians. Do you think that they're sending someone to shoot at your property in the middle of nowhere? See, this is another issue. You're out far. Logistically, for someone to go to your house, shoot at it, there's probably only 2 roads in and out of that area. The odds of them getting caught are high. The risk is very high. The benefit is low. Just to drive by your house and start shooting in the air or randomly shooting at empty buildings, it doesn't make sense. Nobody was targeting you, but you took the attention off of Candace. In Tim's mind, Candace is only getting the views because she's turning Charlie Kirk into a murder mystery and she's pretending there's an assassination attempt on her life. So what he said, basically he wants to prove that her audience is a bunch of idiots because he can actually pull more views if he does the same thing. So it's kind of like he just did a test to see if his theory is correct, but it's not. He doesn't believe Candace's rise to #1 is authentic. Another big problem Tim has is his margins. See, I just have a microphone. I'm sitting at my house and I don't have a ton of overhead. I don't have staff. I don't have editors, producers, mixers. I don't have to fly people in. I don't have all these bills. And I would assume Candace Owens has extremely low overhead. Tim Pool has a lot of overhead, and maybe this hit in his ratings and numbers, he's feeling it more than people know. Him saying that all the conservative commentators, including Timcast, all of them are losing views and they're in the gutter, but Candace Owens is going to the moon. That's a lot. And then he's pocket watching. He's talking about how much she's making. He's asking others to go look at her numbers. We don't give a shit what she's making. We're worried about the content and the context of what she's saying. She's giving us insight and doing investigations and digging into something that is troubling to us. You know, what I don't appreciate about his episode today that I'm about to play some of, he keeps bringing up that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. But Tim, you believe Kash Patel in the official story. So why would you be afraid of the people that killed Charlie Kirk when you think that Tyler Robinson is who did it and he was arrested? You don't believe Israel had anything to do with it. You don't believe it was anyone from another company. You don't believe anything Candace is saying according to you. She's just making up a bunch of bullshit and phony lies to get views. So if that's the case, then whoever killed Charlie Kirk, it should be non-consequential to you. It shouldn't matter. So if you don't believe Candace Owens and what she's saying, then why would you bring up that Charlie Kirk was just assassinated? They got the assassin according to you, right? But if you think that it's her Candace Owens threats are real, why not say that? Why try to pretend that she's paranoid delusional, but I'm not supposed to say you're paranoid delusional about your security threats? Oh, I need a guard to go to the bathroom. Tim's, why would anyone bother you? You are literally like you say, a milquetoast fence sitter. You don't have any extreme views about anything. You're literally pretty much in the center. Just because you're having conversations, a lot of people have conversations. You have a big audience, but Candace Owens has a bigger audience. But you don't think her threats are credible, but we're supposed to believe yours, which makes no sense. So this is what he said today about this alleged shooting.
Friday night was a particularly intense show with a lot of claims made by Milo, which certainly angered a lot of people, and stories that I told about work behind the scenes. And it was cathartic to have these conversations at a time when the tensions between the left and the right in this country seem to be at critical mass, and now the conflict between different factions of the right appear to be at critical mass. And so some of it felt pretty good, but there are certainly a lot of people that were none too happy with that conversation. But all in all, while I do think there's some anger over the conversations and things that were said, it was a good episode in the authenticity of.
Well, he's right about that. The episode, the reason it was authentic is because Milo checked the fuck out of Tim when Tim kept trying to put down Candace and pretend that her threats on her life are fake, yet claims that the threats on his life are real and authentic. Milo checked Tim on that. Nobody was going to be mad at that entire conversation. I watched the whole thing besides Mr. Benny Johnson. And the only reason Benny Johnson would be mad at that conversation is because what Milo said is true. If somebody went on Timcast and said, hey, there's this guy named Rico, and I seen him go into a men's bathroom with 3 older men, and they were all in there moaning and making noises, and next thing you know, I see him walk out and he's pulling up his pants. I literally would hear somebody say something like that, and I would either not care or I would laugh it off because there's no truth to it, and nobody would believe it. But I would be pissed the fuck off if that was something that was true, but I was trying to keep secret, and this guy just exposed it. The only person who would be upset about that conversation would be Benny Johnson, and that would be only if it's true. Was his wife really crying in the lobby because he's upstairs with men? That's a common thing. And yeah, on the right, is everybody a law, basically, is everybody just a straight, normal, conservative Christian person? Obviously not. You really can't, what people do in the dark in their bedrooms is not necessarily indicative of their character and their personality. So people just have kinks. It's such a rampant thing with everybody being gay. It's hard to even judge them because you don't know who is, you don't know who isn't, and you don't know how often they're gay. Are they only gay at events? Are they only gay on weekends? Or are they full-time gay like George Santos? You don't know. I just know there's a lot of gay people. So to say that Benny is gay, but he doesn't want anyone to know, I'm sure that would make Benny mad. But who else would be mad? We're used to Tim talking shit about Candace, so she's not going to be mad. She actually destroyed Tim in one of her videos. So it wasn't extremely controversial, Milo just basically had Candace's back and checked him to his face about his claims, which I appreciate. And that did make that one of the best episodes Timcast has had in a long time.
Of the emotions that were expressed from Milo to George Santos to myself, I do understand there are many people that are saying Milo's just outright lying and is now being threatened with defamation. What a crazy night. So that night,
yeah, being threatened with defamation is different than being threatened to be killed. Like Milo said in that episode, if somebody's planning on killing you, they're not going to tell you, I'm coming to kill you. They would just do it. If they're making threats to you online, they're not serious, which is true.
I did what I usually do. We wrap up, and the guests on Fridays, we go out, and we hang out together. Because we wrap the show early, we don't do the members only. In the weeks prior, we have been experimenting with doing pre-recorded episodes of Timcast IRL on Fridays. Because the news usually goes dry in the early evening, and then by the time it's 8 p.m. for live, we already know what the news is. Everyone's kind of checking out, and, you know, Friday night live viewership isn't actually that high relative to days earlier in the week. For obvious reasons, everybody wants to go out. We were out, and I got a message just around 1 a.m., and it was vague and nondescript. Just there was an incident. We need to talk with your team, and then we started getting the details trickling in that a car had been lurking or something to that effect, and a shot was fired. We now know that it was 3 shots that were fired. We don't know exactly what or why, and we are desperately trying to rationalize. Maybe it's just random.
It sounds like he's running cover for his own bullshit. He cried wolf, and now people are questioning him. People like me. I'm a member of the Discord. I pay the monthly membership. I've been a fan of Tim Pool for years, but I'm going to call it how I see it. I'm not just making this video so I can get a bunch of views and likes. I read the news. There's enough other stuff to talk about, but this is just close to home because Candace is in a fight that a lot of us believe in, and we believe in the threats. We saw what happened to Charlie. We're all on the same page with Candace. Tyler wasn't the shooter. That's something we should be talking about daily. Tim doesn't talk about it. He believes Tyler is the shooter. Cash is right, and there are no other threats. But yet now he's crying about, well, Charlie Kirk was just killed. Who cares? You said that it was fake. There's no threats on Candace's life, and Charlie was not killed by some innocuous group. He was shot by some random gay kid. You can't have it both ways. Tim's security, this is what I would assume could be another possibility. Tim has been hemorrhaging money. His overhead is too high. He's also married now with a child. Him and his wife, or his wife, is looking at the budget a little bit differently than they used to. They don't think they need as much security as they once did, and they're contemplating cutting hours. He mentions that to the head of their security team. Maybe their security team faked an entire alleged shooting, or they staged it just so they can say, hey, you need security. You need more security now more than ever. Some people just took a shot at you. If it wasn't for us being here, they might have just drove through the gate and just went on a killing spree like on Halo. Maybe we need, instead of you talking about cutting our hours, maybe you should double them or at least keep them where they are. Because you were so sure on Friday that you were paying a price for speaking out against evil. But then today, you're basically saying, well, we don't have any details and we don't know anything. So then how do you know the intent of the shooter or their motive? You don't. So this is a play. That's why I started this off saying this is all fake and gay. Begging for sympathy is gay. basically making up an entire story, pretending your life was at risk. And then on Monday, you're saying, well, I actually wasn't even home. We were out hanging out. No, this is fake. It's fake and fucking gay.
Just somebody was driving down the road in the middle of nowhere in the country and decided to slowly approach our property and then fire several rounds, just for no reason, for fun, perhaps. I can't read the minds of these people. In October, I was traveling. My family was back in West Virginia, and we had received a credible death threat, credible as determined by the FBI.
Bullshit. Bullshit. I call bullshit because you were just saying that Candace Owens' death threats that she had confirmed with the White House and the FBI were all fake. You even had Ian Crossland say maybe she's paranoid and delusional. So let me get this straight. Your ego is so large that you think the only person that anyone believe that random people would want to kill is you. So when Candace says, hey, there's threats on my life because of what I'm discussing, and she's even specific, because I'm talking about the Macrons, I'm talking about the flight pattern, and I'm literally never going to give up trying to find out who killed my good friend Charlie Kirk. She's giving you a good reason why someone wants to kill her. And they're all valid reasons. They are. You're going up against governments. Tim can't even tell us why somebody would want to shoot him. Tim, why would anybody want to kill you? You think they want to steal your beanie collection? Are you getting too close to doing a skateboard move that they've been trying to do for 20 years and you're going to outshine them? Like, what is it? You don't say anything that's too controversial. People come and watch you so they can be updated on current news stories that sometimes we don't feel like reading ourselves. So we have somebody named Tim Pool talk to us about it. He kept us informed about the 2020 election. He would bring on interesting guests. We would listen. But people are starting to fade. It's not as interesting as it used to be. The numbers are going down, but his overhead is staying the same. So what do you have to do? You have to get more eyes on you. You have to create more controversy. His opinion is that Candace is only popular right now because she's claiming people are trying to kill her, and she's saying that she wants to burn down TPUSA. But she helped build TPUSA. And she sees that they're destroying the legacy of Charlie Kirk. In a situation like that, it deserves to be burned to the ground because it's not even serving its original purpose no more. TPUSA was Charlie Kirk. There was no TPUSA without him. So what is there even to let go? Everything is just ripping apart all of Charlie Kirk. They're even selling a fake book that they probably wrote with AI and pretending it was Charlie Kirk's memoir. Bullshit. Bullshit. There is no more TPUSA. Candace was the last of it. She's not involved. She sees all the nonsense going on with those people. They're stealing money. They're doing all these other underhanded deals. They're running cover for Israel. Tim's running cover for Israel. And they want us to all believe Candace is fake, but he's authentic. It's not going to work.
We receive threats, death threats, quite a bit. And this time, it was a bit more specific. It was intended to terrorize. It wasn't sent to me specifically like many of the threats usually are. It was intended to reach everyone at this company. I immediately contacted police, our security team did, as well as the FBI. I directly communicated with the FBI over this issue, sent them the information. It was relayed to us a short time later that the threat was credible because the individual making the threats had been on their radar. Surprise, surprise.
So if the person making threats against you is on the FBI's radar, yet they have not arrested him, well, that means that the person is not much of a threat. It also means they probably send fucked up emails to all types of people on the right. Do you understand that being gay was classified as a mental illness throughout history until recent times? Do these people make threats and say nasty things online? And were they celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and they want to see his friends die? Yes. But just because they send you a nasty email and they tell you that you all should die, blah, 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 it doesn't make them credible. They send it to everyone. That's why they're on the FBI's watch list, but the FBI is not doing anything about it because there's nothing to charge them with. Just because they don't like you and they want to see you die, that's not really a threat. Anybody could legally say that. My problem is he took the biggest shit on Candace Owens. He's screaming about her for multiple episodes. What about Candace is not a politician? Do you not understand? She's a woman with a podcast, a mother with a podcast. If you don't like her opinions, don't watch. But to sit up here and blow up and say, well, because of Candace, we're going to lose the midterms. Sir, you are a man with the show just like Candace. Why don't you counter her arguments with a better argument? If Candace Owens can be the reason we lose the midterms, then you should be the reason the midterms are won. You should be able to save them. Counter her. But telling her to shut up is not the issue. Also, Candace, again, is not a paid elected official. The midterms should not be in the hands of one woman. We should not be leaning our entire future on a podcaster named Candace Owens. How much sense does that make? It sounds more so like you want the people to stop following her and get rid of your competition. I don't even think Candace came into this thinking she was going to be competing with you. You know, I remember when she got fired from the Daily Wire and you had her on your show. And now you are talking horrible about her because she's destroying you in the ratings, and you understand YouTube. You understand sponsorship. You're comparing how much money she has coming in every week to how much money you're hemorrhaging every week. It's about the money, and that's why his threat is, I'll just go live by the river in a van. Yeah, not with a wife and kids, you're not. You and your wife and kid are not about to go live by a river in a Winnebago. You need the money. Now you're going to, I didn't even watch this full episode, but I bet you it's going to end with him talking about he's going to do less work, lower his expenses, and there's going to be less things he's going to be able to pay for. And why do you think and that's why I said his security could have staged all of this. For all we know, his security could be the ones staging the swattings, which is why no one's arrested for swatting him and convicted, because it's probably being done in-house. You think people don't stage false flags to make sure that they stay relevant? I've seen people do that before. I knew a dude who one time, I think he slashed his girlfriend's tires because she wanted to break up with him. And he was like, well, man, maybe I should just stay over. Maybe I should be here more because maybe somebody's out to get you. And out of fear, she's like, yeah, you should be here more because, she lived alone, but they were breaking up. People do things to make you believe that you need them. This could be, and there's no way for Tim, like he just admitted on Monday finally, he has no idea who did this or why. But on Friday, he was so sure he was paying the price of speaking out against evil, which is complete nonsense, because just a few days before, you referred to Candace Owens and those of us who watch her show as evil. And you said you wish you could be as evil. This man is very good with words. This is not just about semantics. He would have used a different word. He's using the same one because he wants to make that connection. He thinks Candace Owens or one of her followers, he wants to blame them for the shooting at his property that there's no proof happened. You don't know if it was a car backfiring. There's no ammo that you've recovered. There was no damage to any buildings where you can tell us the size bullets that were used to shoot at you. And then your security team that's supposed to be 24/7 on site, they didn't give chase. They don't have a description. And the police weren't able to stop these people out in the middle of nowhere, no other footage. It all seems very fake and gay. And I'm disappointed because I thought Tim would be above this. But listening to how he talks about Candace, I can understand why people are unfollowing him, unsubscribing from him, because he's more so, it makes you look at him and say, well, I thought this guy was worried about, the future, reading the news, supporting the president, supporting, certain things that we all share in common that we believe in. But now we're starting to realize he's just generating content for views and for money. So it's not really organic. It's starting to just make him seem fake. So people are like, you know what? Candace Owens should not be the news. Candace Owens should not be your focus. We have, like you said, midterms coming up. There's all kinds of scandals. We have pending wars. We just had a French whistleblower say there's a war coming in 90 days. He doesn't want to talk about the Ukraine. He'd rather sit here and cry about a mother of four who has a podcast that he feels he's in competition with. If it's all about money for you, then you're not the kind of person I need to listen to. So that's why people are shifting. Even people like me, I'm getting more and more views and my audience is growing. But it's because, look, I'll sit here and I'll just say it. And I've been watching Tim for years. This doesn't make me happy to sit here and say this, but this is just what I'm seeing. This is what makes sense to me. If he's not the one staging it, then whoever hours he was going to cut with his security, because think about it, that's one of your biggest expenses, according to him, security. If his wife is saying we don't need that much security, we should cut their hours, their security is going to make sure that you feel like you need them still. That could explain this whole thing, because this is a huge difference from him saying that he was fighting evil on Friday to, well, we don't know exactly what or who or if anything even happened. Check the chicken coop video. Maybe you can hear a gunshot on the chicken coop. Man, get the fuck out of here, dude. No, nobody's buying it, Tim. We're not.
And that this person was actually making comparable threats to other people. They believe they might know who this person was. I'm not sure where that investigation is going. For that reason, I believe that they're actually investigating these people, and we've been talking with them. I'm not going to, publish these emails or the communications that had happened.
But why not publish? Damn, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry. The audio, it shouldn't be low. It says that it's high on my end. And if I put it any higher, you get feedback. So let me see if I can raise it. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that's better. Yeah, I mean, if he's in the 7K club, I guess I just see it all as being fake. He calls Candace fake. He says her threats are not real, but his are, which doesn't make any sense. You want us to believe you, but we're not supposed to believe her, and she's actually providing evidence. And here he is on Monday cleaning up his own mess. And it's so easy to see that and other people are seeing through it. It's just that nobody wants to jump the gun, say this is fake, and then a couple of days from now we find out it was real. I remember when Tim was one of the first people to say that Candace saying that she had text messages was probably fake. And then a couple of days later, she produced them, and literally he had egg all over his face. And I think the same thing is happening right now. A lot of this is fake.
But the threat was basically to come and shoot up our property. And there were some specifics in it that made us say, okay, maybe this is It could just be terror, right? So when I return home after going out with the boys on a Friday night, hanging out, laughing, having a good time, none's the wiser. And then we hear security's on high alert. They're monitoring. The extra guys have come out. We pull up. They're standing guard at our perimeter fencing. We have
Extra guys came out. You know what that sounds like? Extra bills, extra money in a time where you cannot necessarily afford it. Typically, this time of year is when people get the most ratings and they get the most ad revenue. But he's been complaining about it for weeks now that the numbers are down and this is supposed to be the busiest time of the year. So what that means is that his overhead is the same, but his income is going down and he's looking to cut expenses. Security is their biggest expense. I'll be honest. I don't think it's electricity. He probably pays more for security than he pays for their mortgage. Security is expensive per day and per person. And then he needs around-the-clock security. He can't go anywhere by himself, according to him. And just when he was thinking about cutting his hours, magically the security come up with a way to make sure that not only does he not cut the hours, he finds a way to have to give them more. And they have to bring on more people. What a weird coincidence, weird timing. He tries to pretend that Candace Owens' timing was, oh, I'm going off air for a week, but it was Thanksgiving. But if she had just got the threat, what does it matter that it's Thanksgiving? If she was taking time away from her studio because these people are literally threatening to come into her studio, then that doesn't mean it's fake just because she took off a week during Thanksgiving. It just seemed like it was just good timing, a perfect time. Her threat was direct and specific. Yours is innocuous. It's literally not very specific at all. And it sounds more so like your security is doing whatever they can to stay employed.
a gate and said they heard shots fired. They were on the property where our studio is, and they heard the shots and went and investigated. We have 4 videos of what happened. We don't, well, I'll put it like this. We're not going to be, at this time, for security reasons, you know, I've got these people screaming, release the footage. And the concern we have is obvious. To then show everyone where we put our cameras, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, you know what, bro? I'm not going to even, there's no point even humoring the rest of his conversation. These are bullshit excuses. This, bro, you are not a president. There's no hit team of ninjas out to get you. By you showing us the footage, we'll be able to see where your cameras are. Bullshit. Bullshit. You won't release any footage because you can't. Because then people will find out that maybe you're a hypochondriac. You know, one point in time, my dream was to one day get invited on Timcast. If I have to lie and shut the fuck up like Ian and Phil just so I can go on there, then I guess I won't ever go on there. I'm going to be honest about what I'm noticing and what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is that people are gay and fake and full of shit. In a situation like this, it doesn't sound like there's many police involved, just your security. So no one's stopping you from releasing the footage. If you want to prove to the public that people were shooting at your property, show us video of them shooting at your property. Show it. But he won't. So that's why I don't trust anything he says. And this video, we're only 5 minutes in. He drugged this out to 37 minutes. I'm long-winded. This video so far is 39 minutes, but I'm going over different subjects. He's only talking about one thing. This is all fake and gay and bullshit. So that's just my opinion about it. People ask me what I thought. They're like, oh, aren't you part of the Timcast fan? Yeah, I'm subscribed. I'm a member. I watch him a lot, but this right here is just another. He's saying Candace crossed the line. he's crossing multiple lines. And that's why people are unsubscribing and he's losing revenue. And I don't know what to do to redeem himself, because instead of focusing on the future and on the news, he's focusing on Candace fucking Owens, which makes no sense to the rest of us. Do me a favor, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'm going to just keep adjusting the mic. I will be back shortly with another topic. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, America first, America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.